All right, we are back. Hello, everyone. My name is Ren, and it's been a while since I last live streamed. Live streamed on this channel. It's not that I haven't been doing any live streams since. It's just, yeah, I think it's been about 2 years since my last live stream here on Twitch, on the Ren Unsupervised channel. But yeah, we're officially back now, and it feels good to be back. Let's just make sure things are going well. Yep, there we go. Everything is looking good. It feels good to get back into things. It's not that I haven't been doing live streaming. It's just that I have been streaming here. Last month I did a live stream over at the Finnish Game Jam channel for the Finnish Game Jam event. Global Game Jam in Finland, and that was fantastic. I had a great time doing a 7-hour live stream, interviewing jam sites and jammers all across Finland, and had a wonderful time. But yes, now we're back on the main channel, and we're going to kick things off by creating something called a QSApp. Now, if you don't know what a QSApp is, of course, I know what it is because I'm part of the company that has created it. But the QSApp is essentially it's a piece of web technology. It allows you to create these high fidelity, interactive, WebGL based graphic and audio and visual assets that can be embedded into any website or web application, mobile application, or even a game engine. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and create one of those from start to finish. We'll be using the QuickSave toolkit. So we'll go through all the steps, using the UI editor, the machine editor, and the QSApp editor to publish the QSApp. And this workshop, I'm quite familiar with this workshop. I've hosted this workshop twice already. It's the same workshop that they use internally in their company and at QuickSave Interactive, and also the one that they typically show to their customers as well. Now the thing is, this workshop, every workshop always has time constraints when hosting the workshop, of course. So I haven't been able to go through the full workshop ever. So this will officially be the first time where I am actually able to go through the entire workshop. And I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great. I think there's going to be a lot I can showcase with this, like button interactions, transitions, different types of animations, state modifiers, and all that. And I think it's going to be great. It's going to be a lovely time. And also, if you want to follow along with this, most likely the VOD will be a lot easier to follow along. You can find the assets for this. The VOD will be posted on YouTube, of course, here and on the QuickSave Interactive YouTube channel. But you'll find the assets for this workshop in the description down below. But first, let's take a look at what a QSApp is exactly. Let's go over here. All right, so this is the QSApp.quicksave.fi website. Right here, right off the bat, right on their main page, their hero banner, it's a QSApp. It's embedded onto this page. You can click it, you can interact with it. It has a nice, adorable little animation. That's their mascot there, the Quickster mascot. And you can click this here and, interact with a few other examples as well. These are all clickable. This is a spine animation, which has this nice animation. These are particle effects, which are part of the QSApp toolkit. Yeah, and it's quite performant as well. I'm happy to say that. This is one I had put together. Technically, I didn't make these, but I put it together. But definitely utilizing a lot of their filters, this CRT filter, this the particle effects again. This kind of like bulge distortion. It looks great. I love it. And click on this. You get nice little animations. Yeah, it's all good. It's great. Yeah, and yeah, yes, that's nice. It stays there. I'm actually gonna pick one that's a little less intensive. But yeah, we have all this here. A few more demos that link outwards. I think this one actually. Yeah, I'm live streaming and I'm also, running this on my computer. I gotta save as many frames as possible. Yeah, we got the drop shadow, we got the glow, we got the outline, we got the noise here, a bit of a blur, a twist. We got the RGB split, CRT, the bloom effect, the bulge, the liquid effect as well. It's great. Just wonderful. And, these are all remote canvases, iframes and remote canvases. They give two options when it comes to embedding. And, I do prefer the canvas one because being able to embed a remote canvas is wild. Like year 2025, we can just pull data from a remote canvas. That's pretty dang awesome. Yeah, we've got these little videos here. Embed anywhere with just one line of code. Yeah, and they have their UI editor, machine editor, and QSApp editor. It's great. Yes, and video tutorials, of course. Can't forget these, of course. I don't mean to brag, but these tutorials are quite nice. Definitely check them out. And in fact, this workshop that I'm hosting today assumes that you already have some basis of knowledge of what the QSApp is, what the editors have installed the editors as well, and may even have watched some of these videos because this workshop, I'm not aiming to explain what a node is, what a state modifier is. I'm aiming to demonstrate them and to create a QSApp from start to finish. But if you do want a bit more of a deep dive, more information and all of these concepts, you can check out the videos that they have posted on the tools.quicksave.fi/videos website. You could really just, my facial hair kind of just transitions between videos, doesn't it? Look at me. So young. So innocent. Right. Yes, and this the pricing model, of course, is 45 euros per month per seat. Who knows? This is subject to change. It's still a lot of that's still very much up in the air, but that's what it is right now, and that's great. It's quite affordable, of course. If you're a design company, a marketing company, advertising agency, game company, especially, that is a price you can sit on. A stand on, sit on. Oh my lord. But yeah, we also have these embeddables and integrations. React is here, of course. I believe this is Flutter. I have no idea what this is. Might be Vue. Or no, React Native? I'm not sure. Vite, we have Unity, we have Unreal, Twitch, Figma, Canva, and WordPress. Nice. And they have their links to their other websites, the Toolkit website and the Studio website. Toolkit website is great for finding out more information on the UI editor and the machine editor. And of course, checking out their API reference and video series. Yeah. But yeah, let's move on from that and start building our QSApp. Now, what I'm aiming to build is a banner. Something quite, maybe not as big as this, but something quite simple. Something you would put on like your profile page on a social media website or somewhere that you can host a banner. And yeah, we're gonna use the UI editor to create the look and feel, the layout. We're gonna use the machine editor to create the flow and the interactive parts of it. And then we'll use the QSApp editor to publish it live on the web with a single click of a button, and it's going to be great. Let's start with the UI editor. Actually, let's start with how I've structured my folders, in fact. So I have my layout file, my machine file, and my QSApp file. And these are all created using the editors. I mean, just saving the file. The UI editor gives you the layout file, machine editor gives you the machine file, and QSApp editor gives you the QSApp file. And there's my assets, the assets you'll find in the description, yes. But I always recommend saving before starting a project. This is maybe just me, being slightly pedantic and all, but I do enjoy having all of my files saved right from the get-go. Just me. All right. So yeah, let's start with creating our banner. Now this is going to be a bit of a wide banner, so I'm actually going to just move this here, so it's a bit easier. And you know what? I'll put myself here as well, or potentially there. Yeah, let's have me there. Yeah, we're gonna create this we're gonna create our banner, which can be a bit wide, and of course you can see I can already customize this to make it a bit easier for me. I'm gonna change the logical screen size. This is more for a portrait mode, but I'll change it to 1920 by 1080, so it's better suited for the landscape. And I'll start by adding a new container node. I'm actually gonna move this over here too. Yeah, there we go. And you know what? I'll put myself over here. All right, we're going to start by adding a new container node. And I'm just going to call this the main container. So it's going to hold all of our stuff. It'll hold our banner. And what I'm aiming to do is create a banner that transitions from a daytime effect to a nighttime effect. Where the sun, the background changes from a light color to a dark color. The sun changes from the sun to the moon, and maybe some different colored mountains as well. We've got our main container. Let's go ahead and create our day container, and let's also create our night container. These are now day and night are now children of main and their siblings as well. You can see that right in the hierarchy right there. I'll create a background for our day right off the bat. I'll use the linear gradient. I'll rename this as background. And I'm just going to get rid of the fill stop, the two fill stops here. The fill stop and the fill color. I mean, not the two fill stops, but the second fill stop and the second fill color, so I can have a nice solid white color for now. I'll change the parent size to 1:1, so it fills up the entire container. And I'm going to make this a bit more of a kind of, daytime kind of color, A bit reddish, a bit pinkish, a bit salmon. Salmon, yeah, that's salmon. Kind of. And then I will do the same for the night. I'll add a linear gradient node. We'll call it background. Delete these two fill colors. And I'll make this one a bit darker. Right now, of course, right now it's the parent size is set to 1:1 here as well. There we go. Now I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, let's make that a bit more of a darker blue. That's nice. That's good. Yeah, let's roll with that. Now, I'm going to set this to be alpha 0. Alpha is your transparency. It goes from 0 to 1. And I'm going to go back to the day background. Let's create some state modifiers. State modifiers allow us to, create these kind of like triggers, kind of like events that, they're called modifiers. Modifiers might be the best term for it. These modifiers allow us to simply click on them or trigger them in some way, which then allow us to change these properties, these node properties that are here. So essentially what I'm going to do is change the alpha property. So I'm going to have one called enter day, and I'm going to have it be transform.alpha. I'll set it equals to 1, and the duration will be, let's make it 0.25 with no delay. I like an ease out cubic. And then I'll do an enter night. And for this, I'll do transform alpha equals 0. And I'll do a 0.25 there. And then ease out cubic. So now if I do enter day, nothing happens because we're already in the daytime. If I click enter night, fades out. Enter day, fades in. Enter night, fades out. Now, I'm going to go to our night background. Do the same thing, but kind of in reverse. So I'll have an enter day with a transform alpha equals to value 0, duration 0.25, and ease out cubic, and enter night, transform alpha equals 1, 0.25, and ease out cubic. So enter day, it's already day, enter night, now it's night. Now you'll notice I've named these, they both have the same name. There's enter day here, enter day here, enter night here, enter night here. The big difference here is that even though they have the same name and they are triggering both when you click on them. So if I click enter night, you'll see both of these states are active now. Click enter day, both of them are now active. Even though they have the same name and they're triggering using the same name, the properties are different. You can do that. You can have states that have the same name, but their properties are different. And this allows you to trigger state modifiers that that have different properties, but using the same name. So you can have these simultaneous property changes with your nodes. So for example, if I have this be let's have enter night again. I can have a second enter night. I can have as many enter nights as I want. And instead of just fade in, fade out, maybe I want this to actually grow. So let's do scale y equals, and I'll set it to 1. Let's make it 0.25. And we'll do ease out cubic. And by default, I'll have the y here set to 0. So if I do enter day and enter night, we have that effect. I quite like that. And I think I'm going to run with it, actually. Or maybe not, because we're going to be adding a bunch of other stuff too. But that is quite nice. But you get the idea. You can have two things that are entered, have two state modifiers with the same name, but different properties. And when you trigger them, they end up triggering both of these. Both enter nights. And they do it simultaneously. So you can see it fade in and also scale up. All right, let's get rid of this. And, right, I need to set this back to 1. There we go. Great. Okay, so we have our background set up. Let's move on and create our sky container. Let's call it that. So I'm going to go to the day node, create the sky container. And I think that's all right. Yes. Let's do a sprite. And this will be our sun. And for our sun, we'll load in the texture that we need, which is our sun SVG. Ah, right. The night is currently covering it. There we go. We can also see our states here. Enter day, enter night. We can trigger them here as well. But yeah, our sun sprite is right here in the corner. I don't want it there. I kind of want it over here. Big old sun right there. Let's actually increase the size significantly. Yes, that's better. And we're gonna move it. Let's move it over there in that corner. And offset it to about, say 300 pixels. negative 300 pixels, and maybe 50 pixels. Yeah. Yeah, I think that works. Hmm. Yeah, I think that'll do. Yeah, I think that's nice. All right, so let's make this slightly smaller, actually. And you know what? Instead of it being in the corner there, offsetting by the corner, I'll have it offset from the center. Let's do maybe 1000. Yeah, 1000. 1000 looks good. If I were to actually change this size to say be 1920 and center it. Okay, so that would be, yes. All right, let's go back. Set this to 1 1. And just so I can be a bit more accurate with how I'm viewing this, because I want it to be within the constraints of 1920 by 1080. And the easiest way to check that is to you go to preview and use LSS, which is the logical screen size. So I can actually see, okay, it's clipping out a bit, which isn't exactly what I want. So let's bring this back. Let's not do by 1000. Maybe I can do one here, one here. Oh, that's Y. Let's do one there, one there. Let's do two, negative 200. Better. So much better. I'm actually going to make it slightly smaller, maybe. No, I think 4 is good. Yeah, 4 looks good. Okay, so now what I want is for when we enter the day, the sun appears from the bottom, and then it hides itself when it's night. So same principles are going to apply here. We'll do enter day. We'll have the alpha first. I'll set it to 1. It'll be 0. Let's do 0.25 again. Let's add a delay. Let's do another 0.25 there. And we'll do ease out cubic. And enter day again. And let's see what the position looks like. Position is currently... parent line is currently at 0. If I were to do 0.8, it's there now. 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, 0.1. Let's do 1. Okay. So now if I go to parent align y equals to 1, we'll do 0.25 with a delay of 0.25, ease out cubic, and we'll do enter night for both. Again, doing the opposite. 0.25, no delay for this. Ease out cubic, enter night. Transform, no, parent line y equals, let's make the value a, what was it here? 1. 0.25. And ease out cubic. All right. Right. So let's enter day. Enter night. Not seeing it on the day. What did I do wrong? Parent, that's what. Yeah, enter day should be 0 on the parent line value. Okay, so we have this kind of a bit of a delay when it transitions upwards. It's not bad. I think it works. Do I like that delay? What if I do no delay? How does that look? It's a bit snappier with no delay. I kind of like that a lot more. All right, no delay it is. And you know what? I'm actually going to make this smaller. Let's do 2. And let's move it down to, say, 150. Maybe 200. Yeah. Enter night, enter day. Enter night, enter day. Let's move this over by 250. Enter night, enter day. Good. Now I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm actually going to increase the scale of it when we enter the day. And I'm going to set a delay to 0.25. Maybe make that about 0.15. And scale, let's scale equals to, let's say 1.5. How does that look? I'll reduce the alpha to maybe 75, maybe 35. Where's the alpha here? Let's do 0.35. That's too difficult to see. Let's do 50. Yes, I think 50 works out quite nicely. In fact, I'm going to change the color of the sun too. We could do that using the tint property here. Let's make it a nice reddish color. Yeah, that's good. And maybe I want this to be above that. That's a bit too red now. Yeah, okay, that's much better. I'll take this one, also color it the same. Reduce this a bit. Nice, okay, so if you enter night, it goes away. Enter day, scales upwards. Great. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Let's do it again. I'm going to copy this, paste it there, move it up, and then for the entered day here, let's increase the value to 2 and also increase the delay to maybe 45. So enter night. I'm actually going to go into preview mode, or play mode, so it's a bit easier to see. Nice. It's quite good. Okay. Maybe I'll move this one back here. How does that look? Okay. Now it's better on the forefront. Now what if I increase the delay to 0.5? Maybe 0.35. I want it to be snappy. You know, quite quick. Too quick. 45 it is. With maybe an ease out cubic. Do all of you have ease out cubic? Yes? You do not. Let's try this now. Okay. I vibe with this. This works out. Maybe I do want to try the 0.5. Yeah. I think that works out very well. Great. We have our sun. Let's do the same for the moon. So I'm going to copy this entire sky with Control-C or Command-C on Mac. And then I'm going to add it here. I'm just going to rename all of these to moon. The best thing to do is always name your name your hierarchy, your nodes in a way that's sensible, a way that makes sense, that's easy to read and understand. You never know who's going to be looking at this in the future, so it's always good to have that set up. And I need to reverse all of these now. So I'll just go ahead and do that. Enter night. Enter night. Enter night. And this will now be enter day. Enter day. So far, so good. Enter night. Enter night. You're just gonna hear me say enter night a lot, but yeah. And only one more left to go. And then we're gonna change these so that rather than having our sun, it'll have our moon instead. Let's test it out right quick. So enter day, we have that. Enter night, we have that. Great. Let's switch the SVG to use our moon asset instead now. And I'll need to do it for all of these. That is certainly quite an interesting looking moon, but I like it. Let's go with it. I'm going to give it a bit of a tilt, actually. So I'll use the angle here. Maybe a 25-degree rotation. Nice. How does this look? Enter day. I think that's great. I think that's perfectly all right. Okay. So yes, we have our moon, we have our sun, we have our two state transitions. Enter day, enter night. Let's add a few mountains. Gonna go here, back to our day, and I'm going to wait, now before that, we certainly can't have this moon looking all red. Let's make it a nice blue color. And I'll do the same for all of them. Just copy this. Paste it here. And paste it here again. There we go. Okay. So yeah, let's add our mountains. Let's do that. Container. Let's call these mountains. And let's add a new sprite. Call this mountain. All right, so I'll select my sprite, sprite PNG, and let's go into the day. Okay, there's our mountain. So I'm gonna position this. Just gonna use this down here to the bottom center. I'll make it slightly larger. Maybe not so triangular. Yeah. Yeah, that's 3.5. Yeah, that's much better. Now I just want our mountain to kind of just scale outwards so that it looks like it's just kind of opening up like a picture book. And I think this blue color is fine. We'll leave it as that default. Let's add a state modifier. So on the day, we'll have it scale, not alpha, but scale x equals 1, maybe a duration of 25. Should it have a delay? I don't think so. And we'll do ease out cubic. And by default, the x will be 0. So enter day. Yeah, that's quite nice. And enter night, it will disappear. So we'll do scale x equals 0, 0.25 possibly, yes. And we'll do ease out cubic again. Enter day. Or this should be enter night, actually. There we go. Enter night, enter day. Enter night, enter day. And I'll copy this, maybe paste another one there, and just kind of offset it, maybe about 200 pixels. Let's do enter day, so we can see it. Yeah, let's move this behind there. And we'll do another one. And we'll make this negative 500 pixels with an enter day. And we'll put that one behind there. So enter night, enter day. That is quite nice and snappy. Kind of want our sun to be a bit higher now. Let's move the sun up a bit. I'll do it for all of these. Maybe 150 would be good. So they're all in line. Yes. Oops. Good. Enter night. Enter day. Now I kind of want these to not all appear at the same time, these mountains. So let's give them a bit of a delay each. I'm thinking middle one first, then that one, then that one. Kind of in that order. So that one's at the end. I'll give that one a delay of 0.25. Or maybe 0.15 might be nicer. You know, really just stagger it. And this one is that one. And this can also be 0.30. Right, so enter day. You know what? I'll give this a delay of 0.15. And this one 0.30. And this one 0.45. You know, that feels a lot smoother. Now let's do the same for the night. I'm just gonna copy the mountains node, paste it in the night, and I'll reverse these like before. So this is now enter night, and this is enter day. And this will be enter night. And enter day. The great thing is we can do so much with just simply two state modifiers. We've made some of these QSApps that have had dozens of state modifiers to do a lot of a lot of intense animations, a lot of really cool things, and also very specific things like character animations, movement, walking, button animations, you name it. Like QSApps are great. Like they can be made for, you can use them for anything from making a simple button to a full-on game, and embed that onto a web page or in a mobile application, or create the entirety of your UI system for your game engine game. All right, this is looking good. I'm gonna give the mountains a bit of a tint. Kind of reverse it, give it more of a red tint there. Yeah, yeah, okay, that's better. I like that. That's a nice color. I think this is actually going quite well because now I'm actually able to do the full workshop I've always wanted to do, and I don't really have that time constraint, which is also very nice. I'm gonna raise that moon a bit. I'm actually thinking maybe the sun, like the same sun sprite around it, might have been better than just the crescent. You know what? I'll play around with it and see how it looks. Let's move this up slightly. And this is the outer rings. Yes. All right. Let's actually change this to the sun SVG. Yeah, it's not quite. That's not as quite centered as I want. That's probably because the image has maybe some spacing to it. Let's do 150 there. And let's move the moon. Possibly 140 or 160. 170. 165. I can actually do this instead to make it a bit easier for the positioning. Yeah, I mean 165 seems like it makes the most sense. And I mean, it could do better if it was more in the center, but I'm not that invested in getting that perfect, so I think that's alright. I can live with that. And to be fair, it does make a lot of sense given the moon is actually a circle and not just a crescent, but also it's light, so it would also make more sense if the moon was in the center. I've been watching a lot of sci-fi movies lately, and just contemplating and suspending disbelief has kind of been my go-to right now. Um, so just being able to enjoy things by suspending disbelief has benefited me quite well when enjoying sci-fi based movies. I think we're good. I think this is looking good right now. Um, let's just test out our states. Enter day, yes. Enter night, great. Okay, wonderful, excellent. We have our layout. We have our main layout. I'm making sure to save. You can always tell when you haven't saved because if I just do that, you see that there's that little circle up there that lets you know that you haven't saved. But once you've saved, it goes away, and then you know that you've made a change and you've saved it. Great, excellent. All right, let's move on next to the machine editor. Yes, the machine editor. Great tool for creating the machine states, the state machine of your QSApp. Defining the flow, the interactions, how your audience is gonna, enjoy and receive this experience. We're gonna move these up here, and the first thing we need to do is actually add our initial state. I'm just gonna call this main as well, or I'll call it root. I think that makes more sense. And then we set our initial state there. Yeah, I think root works well. To be fair, I could call it initial. You can call it whatever you want, really. I will call it root. You can call it main. You can call it initial. It's completely up to you how you name things. Just be sure to name it in a sensible way. Next, let's add our layout as a layer. So we'll use the main layout, and I will call this main. There we go. And instance state. Let's start with enter day. Yeah, of course, in this sort of perspective, the sun is now quite high. I didn't set an upper bounds for the height because I'm perfectly fine with the sun being in the air. I am not fine with the sun being off the screen to the right or the left. But if it's up on the y-axis, that's perfectly all right. That's acceptable. Let's add a couple of state. I actually want this to be a child of the root, but a couple of states here. One will be our day state, the other will be our night state. So day, night. And these are our machine states. These will allow us to run our activities, our state activities, based on the enter night and enter day state modifiers that we created. And to do that, we'll go to state activities here. We'll name this show day, and the layout will be the main. The enter state will be enter day. Exit state will be enter night. Yes. Yeah. Huh. I actually just realized something quite interesting because since we're already going to be entering the night here, we actually don't even need a show night. But I'll explain it. I'll explain it. Enter night and enter day here. So now I have my state activities, show day, show night. If we're showing the day, we'll enter the day. Once we leave the state, you can see we have an active state here. once we leave the state that has this, it'll enter the night state. And for show night, once we enter the night state, machine state here, it'll enter the night, and then once we leave that, it'll enter day. Let's go ahead for our root, set the initial state as day. And for our day, I'm actually going to remove this instant hit state here, and you'll see why. Now it's gone, but we have our day as our initial state here now. So I can just do activity, show day, and there we have it. We have our day. If I go to night now, I will have this be show night. So yes, we have our day machine state, but we don't have a way of transitioning from day to night. So let's go ahead and create that transition. So here in our node properties, we have the transitions. I'm going to create a new transition called night in all caps. I like having my events be in all caps. It is kind of a workplace convention, sure, but it does let you know that this is an event. It's quite clear what it is. And that'll enter the night. So our target will be the night machine state here. And then for night, I'll add day, and that'll enter the day state. So now that day is active, you'll see the transition listed up here, which is night. I can click on that. And now it's transitioned to the night state. You can see night is active here. If I click day, yes, we are now back in the day state. Now, remember how I said that technically I don't even need to show night. Because as long as I'm not in the day state with the show day, it will enter the night. So I can actually even remove this. Don't even need that activity there. And if I enter night, yeah, we have it there. Because, in the day, we're going to enter the day with the show day. And once we leave that, it runs the exit state, which is enter night. So we can just have the exit night. So I can actually remove that and just have the singular state activity there. Of course, you can keep the show night activity here and state activity there. That's completely up to you. But this is the more optimized way of doing it. Just to have the single state activity, which has the enter day and enter night as your enter and exit states. Now, are there situations in which you would, have them both actually? Yeah, of course. If you weren't just doing day and night, you might have an afternoon or an evening or a morning. Then you might need a lot more state activities to represent morning, afternoon, evening, and so on. And then most likely each of those will need one of those state activities attached there. So that you can trigger a morning, an evening, or an afternoon activity. But for now, we just have day and night. And luckily, we enter day and we enter night. There's no intermediate time frames being listed here. It is just day and night. Okay. Now, this is great and all to have this event panel here, which allows us to trigger these transition events. But your audience, your user of this QSApp, most likely will not have an events panel on their web page or mobile application or wherever. So let's create a button in the QSApp that allows us to actually trigger this event by clicking that button. And I want that button to be, this, the sun, for example. Or the moon. Well, both the sun and the moon. In order to make this, make this a button, we need to make the sun and moon clickable. Now the problem is that in our layout, I did not make these uniquely named, and ideally I would want one of these to be uniquely named so it can become clickable. Most likely the one on the topmost layer. which should be actually this, in fact. Right, because this is now layering on top. If I hide this, if I move this upwards, yeah, now that's underneath. All right, so it's going to be this one right here. We'll make the sun clickable, the center of the sun clickable, and I'm just gonna call this sun dash button for now, and this one moon dash button. So they have a unique name, and they will be easy to assign here for our button activities. Right. Let's add our button sun, or maybe a sun button. Layout main element will be, I believe I called it sun button. Let's just double check. Yes, I did. All right. And this will transition to our night. It'll trigger our night event. Let's do the same for our moon button. Moon button main element will be button moon or moon button. And this will trigger our day transition event. Add the activity here, sun button, and here, moon button. Great. Now, this is what you see is what you get experience. So I can go here. Can't click anywhere else. Great. If I click this, nice. We are now triggering our day and night transition event by clicking our sun and our moon. I think that's all we need for now for our state machine. I don't think we need anything else for our state machine. I think we're good. We're solid. We've got the button interaction. We've got the animations. Everything looks wonderful so far. Next, we're going to break out the QSApp editor and publish this so we can see it on the web live. And this is the QSApp editor. There's two input fields. The first is for an ID, which we will generate, and the second is for our state machine. Just make sure I save this, of course. Yes, it is saved. Let's go here. We'll go to QSApp editor. We'll do generate QSApp ID, which gives us this random string of generated characters, our QSApp ID, which we'll use. And then we'll select our state machine. And then we'll go back to this menu, hit publish QSApp. And there it goes. It's publishing. And it's done publishing. I can copy the URL, go to my browser, paste, let it load in, and there we go. We have our QSApp. That is looking good. It's nice, it's fast, it's snappy. Great. Now this is fantastic. I can embed this on my website. I can put it in a mobile application, and it still will retain its interactivity, still retain the graphic fidelity. It's good. And I guess what's important to mention as well is let's say, I've got this QSApp and I've decided, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, I don't want a blue moon. Maybe instead I want a a yellow moon. Let's enter night so I can see my yellow moon. Let's do it for all of these. Let's do that. Great. Yeah, Let's make this a bit more yellowish. Nice. All right. So I save that. Go back to the QSApp. Oh, we can actually test it out here. See, it looks good, yes. But go back to the QSApp editor. I don't need to generate a new QSApp code. I can just, or QSApp ID. I can just hit the publish button again. It's published right there. Come back to this web page, the QSApp on the browser. Reload the page. Hit this, and boom, just like that. Already published, fast, quick, easy editing. Just it's live as well, so that was, that definitely speeds up the pipeline right off the bat. So yeah, that's a QSApp from start to finish, using the UI editor, machine editor, and the QSApp editor. We added some images, some sprites here. We created state modifiers to modify the states with different scales and alpha and movement as well. And yeah, then we created our interactions, our buttons in the machine editor. And then we finally published with the QSApp editor. And here we are. We now have our QSApp. The workshop is complete. I finally got to do the full workshop. I'm super happy. This is great. The VOD of this will be posted on the QuickSave YouTube. Fortunately, I've lost my YouTube recording, but it's all right. We still have the local recording. It's great, Something I learned early on is to plan for these sort of things. They do happen. It is what it is. But yeah, I think this was a good first stream back. Like, yes, there were certain issues, of course, with the recording software, but that happens. It's fine. I did run into some issues with me forgetting about doing proper sizing of things, but that's all right. I'm just really happy to be able to make these videos, to share these QSApp tutorials, I suppose, workshops, and hopefully in the future we'll be making more of these videos where we go through making various QSApp components, web components, game components, just really fun and useful things, just demonstrating the power of the QSApp and the QuickSave toolkit as well. But yeah, like I said, this VOD will be available on the QuickSave YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe there and check out my tutorial videos as well that are there on the QuickSave YouTube channel. A lot more information on how to use the tools and how to, there's also, check out the QuickSave website as well for how to get access to the tools. Definitely liking this new paradigm of, more, interactive, kind of game-like UI systems that, we're kind of pushing away from this flat, boring design, but bringing back, fun and soul to the web. But yeah. Thank you for watching. Catch you again next time. I might do some more live streams. There's been a lot of new indie games released in Finland, and quite a few of them I want to check out too. So I'll most likely either do a live stream of playing a few of those, or just drop a few videos on my YouTube channel because I do. There's some level of enjoyment I do have for indie games, and the indie scene is growing. I love indie technology. I love indie games. It's definitely driving my desire to create content on those things forward. But yeah, thank you for watching. See you again next time. Bye.